pick and unparalleled in the world of nutrition and health and vitamins. You cannot make a bad choice here, but in particular, cranberry, we all know, if your urinary tract is not functioning, you know, up to par, that's not a good day. And what's interesting is, and you know, when I say full disclosure, when I used to do shows with Andrew, he made this observation the last time I worked with him. He's like, when he'd go on a chart, I'm like, I might have to make a little
No, you
visit.
used to.
I
used
did.
to, just joking, I used to make a little pit stop.
Right, and I take this twice a day now. I do.
Well, and cranberry, it's just this wonderful natural ingredient. It's funny, I was hearing some on the radio, some crazy dietary supplement ad that sounded like they were selling a drug, and then I realized it was a dietary supplement. And in the ad, it said, you know, someone is saying cranberry just doesn't work. Which was really disturbing to me, that in order to sell their product, they're saying something that's patently false and flies in the face of all this research in terms of bladder and urinary tract health, that there's centuries and centuries of supportive science in terms of cranberry. And there's very, very real science now in terms of observational science, clinical study that clearly demonstrates the role of cranberry in supporting a healthy bladder, supporting a healthy urinary tract. It's just in promoting it. It's just, there's no question in terms of the science. I have a small, this is just a small portion of the reviews. But this is just a stack of reviews, and every time I'm here, we'll add like 10 or 15 reviews to the stack, and maybe I'll just grab some from the top here and just read a couple. And of course, cranberry's not a drug. It's not a medicine. It's not treating disease. All cranberry does, it just has this remarkable property to create an environment, a better environment in your bladder and your kidneys. And by creating that better environment, by supporting that better environment, we do better. And it's just that simple. If we read here, saved me many doctor visits. I started taking Cranberry Benefits 2 or more times a day, at least a decade ago. And it has saved me from many doctor visits, lots of discomfort, lost work time, and prescriptions. I tried drinking cranberry juice, but the pure sugar-free is very bitter and expensive. It's really expensive. There was just no way I could drink it every day. Once I found Andrew's Cranberry Benefits, I stopped having bladder infections. I've been prone to them since childhood. Not since starting this. Thank you so much, Andrew. I take lots of his supplements and vitamins, and I'm the healthiest senior citizen I know. I like investing in my health instead of spending my money on medical care. And again, it's not a medicine. It's not intended to substitute for your doctor. But to the extent cranberry creates and supports a healthy environment in our bladder, that's just a wonderful thing that we all benefit from.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, even for me, I'm sleeping through the night. And again, I know results are going to vary, but it is something, and I'll have Steve pull up the customer reviews, because this was a late breaking edition, so I don't have those available, so we'll go.
We shortened the phytoceramides because we're running out of phytoceramides.
I know, exactly. We had to make some, you know, quick programming adjustments, but this is not always in inventory, because there are so many of us like myself who rely on this religiously. I take this every day, twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. So if you're like me, you're probably going to go for the bigger size, and maybe there's somebody else in the family as well.
Birthday savings.
Birthday. Amen.
Yeah. So a little more than a dime a capsule.
That is crazy when you think of it. And guys, you're not exempt either. Guys can benefit. I know sometimes we traditionally think of women with, you know, you should see the face you gave me. No.
I mean, without saying,
say that, got me all flustered.
No, without saying it's Father's Day, so I might as well say this, that, you know, oftentimes we can tend to have, you know, certain health issues and things can run in families. And I know, I remember, you know, my dad has on a few occasions had whatever, bladder infection or things like that. So it's something that men can have, and it makes me more aware of how I move through the world. You look at what your parents experience. So it's something that I think we all owe it to ourselves to look at what we can expect and anticipate as human beings based upon perhaps the experience of our parents, based upon our own experience.
For sure.
And so we could either throw up our hands and say, this is the way it is, or, a perfect example of how to phrase this, we could try to create a healthier environment within our body that's more conducive to our experience, a healthier life, a healthier human experience. And that's what cranberry's all about. Rita.
Andrew, can I just interject for a moment? Steve looked it up for me. It's a 4.7-star customer pick rating, 560 reviews. Almost 500 are perfect.
So about,
what does that tell you?
So about 90% of the reviews are 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
But again, if cranberry is the real deal, I couldn't make a better cranberry product.
Oh, you couldn't.
The only thing I'm trying to do with this product is find the best source of cranberry that's going to deliver the best results. And I do nothing else with it. I just put it in that capsule. So it's a small capsule here.
It's pretty.
I'll just, and it's just
I'm serious.
it's the color of cranberry. So it's just, as you could see there.
But no sugar, no calories.
Nothing added, so it's just an ultra-fine powder. So we basically try to get out of the way of Mother Nature.
Yeah.
We take the best raw material we could find, and then we deliver to it in a way that's going to be inoffensive, that's going to be easy to swallow, will not upset your stomach, so you don't have to deal with the bitter taste of cranberry or all the sugar of cranberry juice, because a typical cranberry juice is, I think this is probably 140 or 160 calories or something. It's 140 calories in 8 ounces.
Good Lord.
And I don't believe 8 ounces delivers as much benefit as one of our single capsules in terms of the content of the protective compounds that you're seeking. So consuming hundreds of calories per day of sugar is just not in our best interest, either from a caloric level, from an insulin and blood sugar metabolism level, any number of things. We all know that sugar intake is not a healthy thing.
For sure.
To be diminished.
Hey, Andrew, can I ask you something? Do you have the ability to work? We know what we have available, so I'm going to the source.
I'm not sure if we'll have more for this visit, but we're back in a month in July, and we'll certainly do our best to have more. So I can check if we'll have more of this, because actually, as you point out,
I know.
with the calls on the line and the quantity we have, we're not going to have it.
See, I'm not messing around. I'm just going to the source. I'm going to ask the guy. And
sometimes I just don't have a great answer. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I will check, and I'll just read a couple more reviews, and then we'll run along on this.
Perfect.
I will never be without this supplement. Being a fan of Andrew Lessman's products, I recommend Cranberry Benefits to a friend years ago. Somebody in a wheelchair who is catheterized, and therefore she is at high risk for multiple UTIs. They were greatly helpful to my friend, as she reported a great reduction in the number of UTIs she got as a result of taking the supplement. The quality of Andrew's supplements and the way they are manufactured is exemplary. We'll do one more. I'm now a believer. I kept getting UTIs and was getting discouraged until I saw this product and all the great reviews. I was skeptical, but thought I'd give them a try. I'm so glad I did. So far, so good. It's been 4 months. I only take 1 a day. I recommend this to anyone having problems with UTIs. I don't typically give reviews, but this product deserves a great one. Thank you, Andrew, and from Janie in Vermont. And again, not a drug, not a medicine, not intended to cure or treat disease or anything like that, but to the extent we can create a healthier environment in certain systems and organs in our body, then that healthier environment is reflected in our noticing a difference in our lives. And that's, for me, without question, that's the case with cranberry.
For sure. I mean, and we all know how problematic that can be if you've been challenged in that area. So again, at least at this juncture, we have a couple hundred in each size. And take that for what you will, but literally a couple hundred in each size. And so, wow. I'm going to be busy shopping along with you as soon as we're done with this show, because actually, cranberry's on my list. So if it's on your list as well, 30, 60, 120, or 240. If you take it twice a day like I do, you're obviously better served by going for that larger size. And everything to love about this, you know.
I take just 1 capsule a day.
Right. I do take 2, and it's made a significant difference for me.
And certainly as a guy, I'm getting older, and as we get older, we have other issues. Our prostate continues to grow. I think most men would prefer something else to grow, but not their prostate. Unfortunately, that has impact on bladder function. And as it has impact on bladder function as men...
Yeah, but it's true.
It's so we go through life, men being blissfully ignorant, because women have to be more aware of what's going on in their body than men do, unfortunately. And as a result, I think for a lot of men, we're kind of caught off guard.
For sure.
When we start noticing more urgency, having to go to the bathroom at night and things like that because of changes in prostate function. And of course, accompanying that has an impact on bladder function, because the reason we have that urgency is the relationship between the proximity of the prostate to the bladder, and as the bladder enlarges, it affects, as the prostate enlarges, it affects bladder function. So men have to be aware too. It's not just one of those things that women need to be aware of what's going on in our bodies. All
right, so this was a late breaking edition because our today's special is, you know, not as available as we might like. So I hear we're gonna do some little monthly specials.
Yes.
So, that sounds fun.
First, we're going to do this month's monthly special, which was a new edition.
Right.